Good evening, and welcome to Neutral News, the only program to observe the unfolding chaos of the present with the calm detachment of a man watching his neighbor's shed burn down. Tonight, we are pausing our usual coverage of things that are happening to focus on the things that have already happened, which, by a strange coincidence, seem to be happening again. We are talking nostalgia. A condition that has progressed from a gentle background hum into a full-blown cultural epidemic. It seems we have looked at the future, decided it's not to our liking, and are now demanding to speak to the manager of the past. For a full report on this mass excavation of the day before yesterday, we go to our correspondent, Susan.
Neil, the situation is comprehensive and exhilarating. Our analysis indicates that Western culture has largely ceased the forward production of new ideas and has pivoted to a model of industrial-scale recycling. Current estimates suggest that 78% of all new film and television is based on properties that were popular when today's executives were in their formative, less than photogenic teenage years. This trend is now visible across all sectors. The music charts increasingly resemble an archaeological dig, with new songs built entirely from the scaffolding of old ones. Fashion is cycling through previous decades with the bewildering speed of a malfunctioning tumble dryer. We are, in effect, living in a cover version of the world that existed 30 years ago.
So, we've essentially given up on being pioneers and have collectively decided to become historical reenactors. A staggering state of affairs, Susan. It paints a picture of a civilization that has looked at the horizon, shuddered, and decided to turn around and run screaming back towards the warm, fuzzy embrace of television shows with unconvincing puppets. Has there been any analysis of the commercial mechanics behind this rear-view mirror culture?
Indeed, Neil. Our economics desk has termed it the nostalgia industrial complex. It operates on a simple yet effective psychological principle. It identifies the precise age at which an adult has maximum disposable income and minimum residual hope. It then cross-references this with the confectionery, theme tunes, and memorable cartoons of their childhood. The result is a highly targeted campaign, refined by focus groups to find the optimal memory-to-price point ratio, designed to make a 40-year-old pay £15 for a bowl of cereal they vaguely remember. The product now comes in a smaller box and tastes primarily of reminiscence and mortgage anxiety.
It's a masterclass in emotional leverage. It's less a marketing strategy and more a gentle persuasion, reminding you of a simpler time before selling you a piece of it at a significant markup. It reminds me of trying to coax a shy animal from under a sofa. You don't offer it a bold new flavor sensation, you offer it the same familiar thing it has always known, because anything new is, by definition, suspect. But what of the quality, Susan? Are these resurrected relics as good as our memories have led us to believe?
That is the central fallacy, Neil. The phenomenon of rosy retrospection is at play. Our brains are neurologically programmed to act as curated museums of the self. They file away inconvenient memories, such as the 3 hours it took to load a single image on dial-up internet, while placing a velvet rope around the good ones, like the triumphant beep score kiss that signified you were finally online. If products were re-released with 100% accuracy, a packet of crisps from 1994 would come with a faint sense of the era's unique political tension and be 30% smaller than you recall.
A truly peculiar thought. One almost longs for a regulatory body, a sort of OFPAST, the Office of Past Experiences, to ensure historical accuracy. Are you suggesting, Susan, a satirical solution, where every reboot of a classic film is legally required to include an extra 10 minutes of characters queuing patiently?
Our theoretical solutions department has proposed something similar, Neil, under the heading of the realism mandate. For example, any video game remastered from the 1990s would need to include a feature where the game randomly freezes, forcing the player to turn the console on and off again, losing all unsaved progress. But the mandate would extend to all media. A re-release of a 1970s detective show, for instance, would have the thrilling car chase replaced by a real-time scene of the hero trying to find a parking space near the crime scene. The soundtrack would be replaced by the gentle hum of fluorescent office lighting.
It builds character, or at least a very colorful vocabulary. But this isn't just about products, is it? It's about a feeling, a deep-seated yearning for a simpler time, a time one presumes before we had to know everyone else's opinion on everything all the time.
That is the core of the issue. Psychologically, nostalgia is a coping mechanism. Our in-house behavioral unit calls it temporal comfort seeking. The subconscious preference for a known, resolved timeline over an unknown, unresolved present. Faced with an incomprehensible torrent of 24-hour news, global events, and notifications about a colleague's sourdough starter, the human mind retreats to a perceived safe space. That safe space is usually a time when its biggest worry was whether a cartoon coyote would finally catch a cartoon roadrunner. The fact that he never did is the source of Miles' existential query, best left unexamined.
So, our brains are essentially re-watching a series they've already completed because they can't handle the suspense of a new episode. Very, very us. This must surely have an effect on our perception of time itself.
The outlook is recursive, Neil. We are already seeing the emergence of micro-nostalgia. The half-life of a cultural moment has drastically shrunk. Our archives contain social media posts from last Tuesday where users were throwing it back to a viral video from the previous Friday, treating it as a relic from a distant past. The cycle is accelerating to the point where we may soon become nostalgic for the beginning of this very news broadcast. It was a simpler time then, Neil. We were so full of hope.
A chilling prospect, Susan. We risk becoming trapped in a cultural feedback loop, like an Ouroboros eating its own Throwback Thursday post. So, to summarize for viewers who may have just woken from a reverie about a chocolate bar that no longer exists, we are collectively living in a museum of our own making. We are devoted to a past that never quite existed, packaged and sold back to us by people who know we are too tired to object. It's a comforting, lucrative, and ultimately stifling condition. A cultural security blanket, which, if we're honest, is starting to smell a bit musty. Thank you, Susan. That's all the time we have, because time, ironically, is the one thing we seem to be running away from. Good night.